Welcome to another This Week in Coworking discussion.
Welcome back to the This Week in Coworking podcast feed. I am your host, Hector Kolonas, and today I'm joined by two of the fantastic team that have closed one of the biggest multi-location co-working deals that I've ever seen. To dig into that, I've got Caroline Hecht and Tara McCoy. How are you both doing today?
So great. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
Sorry for the voice.
You both sound great. I'm so glad that we get to help you tell this story today. For some backstory, a couple of weeks ago, we mentioned that Preferred Office were part of the team that helped a fairly large company place around 600 teams around the country. But before we dive into what the news was all about, what can you tell me about Preferred Office Network? When did it start and how long has it been around for?
So I'm happy to share more about that. So we were founded in 2010 and by three flexible workspace operators. So they all had this vision of being able to rival what was then one of the largest networks out there, but be able to offer enterprise and corporate clients a better solution and alternative solutions. We celebrated our 15-year anniversary last year, so that was really exciting to just really look back on where we started, which again, 75 locations to now over 1,300. And we're also a global company now, and we didn't start that way. It's been quite the journey. I've been very grateful to be here for as long as I have been. So I've really seen the growth firsthand, and it's been a fun ride for sure.
And Tara, how long have you been with Preferred?
Just 3 years. And I was even trying to think, where was I 15 years ago? You know, the whole trend, 2016, everyone's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, Caroline, you've been here forever. You really started this from the ground up.
It feels that way. But yeah, Tara came on, and when you said 3 years, I'm like,
I think it's been
oh my
3
gosh.
years.
But when she came on board, I mean, it was like the missing puzzle piece that we didn't know we needed, or maybe we did know we needed it. So that's been fun to have Tara on board. She and I work really well together, and she's the one that we really have to thank with this big client that we're going to talk about today. So don't let her be modest. She built the relationship and literally has spent a lot of late nights with our high touch client.
Together. We've done it together.
I love that. We're going to dig into exactly how that whole deal went down, the logistics of it all. But before we do that, Caroline, you've been at Preferred for about 13 years. What has changed since your very first booking till today?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one thing that I am very proud of is our model and our core values haven't changed at all. And I really like that because yes, this flexible workspace industry has been through some crazy moves. The Preferred Office Network, while we have evolved and matured as a brand, we have never strayed from what our mission was, and that has always been to serve multi-market clients well on one agreement and really build trust. And so I feel like there's always that next big thing, like, okay, is it AI this week? Is it automated bookings? Is it, whatever it is? But we always, no matter what's kind of like being thrown at us, we always want to stay true to what our original mission is. And I feel very proud that we've done that. But the way that I would say our clients have changed in using us. So we used to primarily serve, 1-2-person teams. Each of them wanted their own office, maybe in one market. So we were still able to give them, the consolidated and streamlined benefits across their portfolio, but they weren't really coming to us with teams. That shift has just really mirrored what the whole industry is seeing. Post-COVID, companies are shedding the HQs. They want to put their teams in places that work for them, more of those hybrid arrangements. We have definitely seen that shift. What's been neat to watch as well is how our member operators have also shifted their offerings where, 15 years ago, if we were to say, hey, yeah, we want a team office for 15 people, most of the operators would be like, we don't, like, what is that? We don't even have anything like that. But now, not only are they doing new construction when they open new locations and taking those things into consideration, but they're transforming their spaces to really offer that. And then we've added brands that are very well at being able to provide those team spaces. So I would say that's probably the most notable change that I've seen.
That is really interesting. Especially, I mean, I remember coming into co-working 2013 and it was mostly, 1, 2 desks. It was hot desking. And this idea of, teams now choosing where to co-work is just fascinating. So tell me a little bit more about the types of space. Are you placing people in spaces on like month-to-month terms? Is there any shorter terms than that? Or are you placing people for more kind of long-term placements?
And Tara can speak to this as well. So our big value proposition is the month to month. You do not have to sign for 6-month, 12-month, 24-month terms with Preferred. What we have seen though is many of our clients are so, I think, used to that model, and they recognize that there can be some cost savings for the longer term. So it has been kind of a shift. I think when we first started, the month to month was like revolutionary. It was like, whoa, who's doing that? So that was very revolutionary at the time. And I will say that I think that was a big hook. Over the course of like we were coming into the scene and other operators, the month to month kind of became more common, more standard. So then we've kind of seen a shift, especially post COVID, where they were not wanting to commit because who knew what was going to happen in the world. Now they're dipping their toe into, okay, let's do a 12-month contract. And there is a little bit of cost savings there. But Tara can kind of answer, I would say, I don't know, is it like 60-40, like 60% are month to month and like the other 40 are willing to sign for those longer lease terms?
I think that's probably on par. I want to say some of our clients that have been with us since 2011, they still like that ultimate flexibility month to month with the 60-day out. It's funny because they're still in the same space, right? So yes, they want month to month and flexibility is so attractive, but they're so happy in their space that they're normally there 3+ years. So that speaks volumes to our partners, keeping them happy in this space. I think now everybody wants a deal. So I'll always present the month to month because again, we're presenting ultimate flexibility. But if you're going to save, let's say 5 to 10% on a 12 to 24 month term or get that 1 month concession, I think that our clients are more willing to commit to something longer term just for that cost savings. Because then ultimately after that initial term, if they wanted to do month to month, they're more than welcome to.
That is really interesting. And I mean, I've got two questions here for the two different sides of your marketplace. On the demand side, how are these companies finding you? Because I'm assuming you're not running ads for co-working spaces in Dallas. How are your customers finding you?
So I really think that originally it was all maybe word of mouth, right, Caroline? Like in the beginning, I know we had a big uptick in clients in 2012. We've continued to maintain those relationships and build on those relationships and then build relationships with operators who also will send us referrals. They know that we have 20 co-working locations, but I have a client who needs a space in the middle of nowhere. And they'll reach out to us and say, we have this client, they're our client, we're going to maintain that relationship, but can you be an extension of our team? Can you help us find space in Wilmington? Can you help us find space in a city that we don't have? Because we know that you're going to find another member within the network that provides premium services, and we can speak to that. So we like to be an extension of the operators' teams. Another referral, which I know the deal that you really want to dive into, came from a broker, right? Okay. So we aren't brokers, but we work with brokers and we work together to give them exactly what they need.
That's
I think
amazing.
too, we have some website leads,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
We do some advertising, and Caroline could speak to the whole marketing piece.
Yeah, just to echo what you said, I mean, I think the original sort of business development 15 years ago was kind of your old-fashioned cold calling and just explaining what we can bring to the table. And so, yes, a ton of companies were not happy with the service and the billing and the headaches they were experiencing at their other location. So they were more than happy to have this alternative. So that was really fun to see all of that. But yeah, today, we've evolved our strategies as well. So it's no longer that cold call anymore. We've got a little bit of brand recognition. We do a little bit of digital advertising, but to your point, Hector, we are certainly not trying to capture like a specific market. That strategy just would not make sense for us because, again, our target customer is a multi-market customer. So if we capture someone looking for space in Dallas, they might be one company looking for just that one location. We have found, I think, the best success working with a broker, and that could either be a traditional broker that works off of commission, or we have clients who employ kind of their own broker, or they're salaried. So they're more than happy to lean on us for assistance. Whereas some of those, brokers that are in flex that are working off commission, I think they're still a little hesitant, and I understand why, but we're here to promote the fact that we're here to be a resource. You'll still get your commission, but why not use our relationships and leverage kind of the network that we've built? But yeah, typical website forms, we get plenty of those. But again, those are typically more the one-off, like local leads versus a multi-market client. So I think relationship building is probably the best way to capture the type of customer that we're after.
That makes a lot of sense. Which brings me to the other side of the equation. You're called the preferred office network. You said that people pick you or trust you because they know that your partners have a certain level of entry criteria to be in the network. Who can join the preferred office network as an operating partner and who can't?
Well, we never want to deter anyone from at least inquiring, but I will say at a minimum, we really want them to be that turnkey solution, all inclusive. So if you operate a space and you don't furnish it or you don't provide the internet, those are probably the two biggest.
Everybody wants that support where they don't have IT, they don't have someone to greet their guests, and they need that additional support. So just someone on site that can support the local team, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. And that's not to say we have definitely placed clients in other spaces, especially when that's like the only option in that market and we just have to get creative.
I don't want to call Comcast. I really don't want to call and like set up internet for you.
Yeah.
So the turnkey, all-inclusive operators, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I mean, just to confirm, there's no like participation fee, right? No one has to sign up, like pay a fee to join.
Right. Yeah. Membership is completely free. The only time anyone has to, forfeit any dollars is when we actually bring you business. So it's really the best of both worlds. It's like free to get in, and then when we bring you revenue, we're just going to take a piece of it. So it's a great setup. I wanted to circle back really quickly to one thing you were asking about, like who can join, who can't. What I've noticed and what we're trying to really implement across our network, but we found that it was necessary to have a way of differentiating between, okay, if I get a call today for a certain market, I've got 30 options. Like, how do I really know where to go? So we kind of rolled out something that we call Diamond members. And those are really your best in class, enterprise level type of security, internet, things that are very important to a lot of our VIP clients. So that is one way that we've kind of distinguished across our network. Not to say that not every member is equally important. That's not it at all. It's just a way of us being able to more quickly find the right type of space for the right type of client. Other clients don't really have those high maintenance or high touch preferences, but we definitely have the clients that do. And so that has helped us a lot. But yeah, if there are any space operators globally that are interested in joining, seeing more about how we work, we would love to have a conversation at the least and kind of see if it's a good fit. But we're definitely open to new locations joining for sure.
Great. And of course, we'll put all your details in the show notes so that people can reach out and connect with you both to learn more about what Preferred is doing. But we did mention that you were involved with a pretty large multi-location deal. Let's dig into that a little bit. So some background. A company reached out and they're like, hey, we need to place people in a certain amount of offices. Can you help us? You managed to place 552 teams within co-working spaces, generating a net new revenue of around $2 million monthly for your participating partners, who I think broke down to about 150 operators. That is mind-blowing. How did that deal start?
I was trying to think back and I think I blacked it out because it was a little stressful in the beginning, but you're right. We nailed it. And I'm so proud of our team. So I'm excited to speak about it. Again, going back to building relationships, we received a lead through an operator. That's how it all started. The lead
Referral.
came in. Yep. It was a referral came in. It was from a broker. Shout out to Melissa from JLL. She is head of Flex. She reached out to an operator. They couldn't accommodate. And it was just I think it was just a single location. We built that relationship with Melissa probably for almost a year.
Yes.
She called us one day and said, I've got something for you, and I think you guys are the only ones that can solve for this. So she introduced us to the JLL team who represents this client. We discussed their needs. They needed a pilot program. They wanted to place tax experts in offices to meet their clients in person. Originally, they were virtual. Everyone's back to the office. People want to meet with people who they trust in person to file taxes, something that they really don't want to do. So let's bring them into a nice setting. It's less stressful. We can let them sit back and relax and talk about the money that they owe, or maybe getting back, hopefully, in some situations. But I think they started with 200 locations. They needed it within 30 days. They tried it themselves. They did. They reached out to operators and they admitted, I'm getting 100 different proposals in different formats from all of these operators with different terms and conditions. I don't even know what to do with this information. We said, let's just do it. We've got this. We've got our network. We've got operators in all of these locations. They started with zip codes. We took a deep dive. If we didn't have an operator, Caroline was amazing and reached out to find an operator in that location. And we really were able to solve all of their pain points. One being the proposal process. Where do we even begin? We're submitting forms. We're making these cold calls, telling them that we need a single person office yesterday, essentially. But you know what? We only need it for tax season. Starting to jot down all of this data, they had very strict requirements on security, parking. They needed a front desk person to greet their guests. They needed 24/7 access to their office. They needed it to be fully furnished and beautiful so that they could hold their standards and welcome in their guests to file these taxes that they don't want to do. So we were able to gather all of that information thanks to our operators, put it in a pretty little package and say, what locations would you like? Here it is. It's turnkey. They're ready to go. You choose what you would like. They ended up choosing the first season 203 locations, anywhere between 2 and 4 offices at each location. We were able to deliver them the one service agreement. They didn't have to go to each operator and read through all of the terms and conditions. We gave them a standard set of terms and conditions for every single location. They wanted, again, that ultimate flexibility on term length. They wanted it to start, I think we had 30 days to turn this around, which was insane. But they wanted it to end on April 30th. Tax season is over. They don't want to sign for 12 months. So we were able to deliver them the same terms and conditions, start date, end date, and then also give them the month-to-month option in case they wanted to extend, which they did. And then, of course, the billing aspect, right?
Huge.
They had trouble with, all of these different vendors, which they have to set up individually. Even though they're a huge company, their accounting department was like, we can't pay all of these separate invoices. Some only accept credit cards. Some only accept ACH. How do we, make all of these payments individually? So we were able to give them one invoice with every single operator costs on the invoice, and they were able to pay us the one vendor per month. We handled all of their retainers, their setup fees. We take it a step further and continued to manage their account with the onboarding. They would have had 200 different on-site contacts that they would, where do I pick up a key? How do I get into the building? How do I connect to internet? All of the nuances that come with onboarding all of these experts, we were able to manage that for them as well. Fast forward to success. Season one was a success. And again, I think we owe a huge thank you to all of our members for making it a success, because they were ready to continue on a month-to-month basis and then essentially roll into season two. Season two, they came back to us and said, we're doing it big this time. It was a success. Let's make this huge. So we started out with 2,000 zip codes in tertiary markets because they were targeting a specific demographic. And we're like, oh, 2,000. No big deal, right? Their goal was 565 locations, 2 offices each, single person offices. And we were able to pull it off again. So here we are in February. We're at the height of tax season. So far, so good. Over 500 locations. We've seen a couple of experts. This location doesn't work for us. Let's find a location that does, travel wise. Or this location doesn't have HVAC over the weekend. They don't have to call the on-site team. They call us to manage everything. So we're able to turn that HVAC on over the weekend and then charge the client back on their one simple invoice.
I mean, there's so much power to that. A, the speed, B, the breadth, and C, just the fact that you are a concierge-like service where they have that one point of contact, which is just remarkable, and huge congrats on pulling this off. A, as quickly as you did for season one, and then doing it even bigger for season two. For season one, what percentage of the people you placed stayed? Or did you have to replace them for season two?
So we replaced them. I think they stayed through extensions, which run through October, but they wanted to start from scratch. So they did re-sign for a lot of the locations, but because they were targeting a specific demographic, we started from scratch. So I think learning from season one, we had a lot of the data that we needed. Again, I think it was another 30-day turnaround and us being really aggressive with operators. I think we scared a lot of them. Like, oh, what? You need, are you sure? So you want to sign today? I'm like, no, I promise. This is real. So not only building trust with the client, but building trust with these members, welcoming new members into the network to make it seamless for our client was also a bit of a challenge. So,
and funny story, we got word in like a discussion group.
I think it was
Someone
Facebook.
was like,
Yep.
who has heard of Preferred Office Network? Because a lady called and she sounded really pushy. And so we were laughing amongst ourselves like, okay, who was it? Who was the pushy one?
So sorry, but I need these offices right now. And I need them furnished in turnkey. And I promise you, you're going to get the monthly rate you're asking for. What client comes to you and just says, this is what we want, 2 exteriors, the most beautiful windowed offices. And, we're not tight on budget. We'll say that. So I think we scared people. It's too good to be true.
Yeah, good point.
Sorry, everybody. Real aggressive.
So this is season 2. It seems to be going well. I cannot wait to share how big they go in season 3. But what else are you guys working on? I know that you place companies and teams all around the world now. Working on any other interesting deals that operators should know about? Maybe if you don't want to mention the name, maybe just the industry and how many offices you're looking for.
I think another really interesting, I know Caroline spoke to this earlier, but we have another, I would say our second largest client. They're expanding, and not just expanding their footprint, but expanding their team. So they're growing their teams, and we're seeing the need for the larger suites. So we just expanded a team to 50. They started with, I think it was maybe 20, which was already pretty large for some of our members, but now they expanded to 50. So this specific member was willing to tear down a couple walls, turning it around in 30 days because everybody always needs something yesterday. I think, yes, we still need that. We have that need for the single person, windowed office, close to reception for the one, local team member. But we are really seeing that uptick in large suites, and members are having to get creative. If they don't have the space on the floor, let's talk to your landlord. Let's see what else is available in the building, and let's make it happen.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a perfect segue into our preferred suite model, which is exactly what Tara just described. Is if you're part of a larger building, check with your landlord. Do they have space? And then guess what? You as the co-working operator get to service it with the internet, the meeting space, the mail handling services, the kitchen access if the suite doesn't have it. So we are, really trying to educate some of the members that maybe aren't as, I don't want to say forward thinking, but they've just never thought about this. And so we're trying, if our client asks for something, if you're willing to work and get creative, we can do it. I think that's something we're definitely working on, as well as just our overall global footprint, being able to offer our clients space in all 7, maybe not 7 continents, but most of them. So I do think that's probably another initiative that we're kind of pushing harder on. Tara attended Co-working Europe last year, had a blast. Met some great
Paris this year.
Contacts. Oh yeah, I think I'll be there this year. That sounds great.
You have to go yourself. You can't send Mike this time. You have to be there.
I'll probably be there. It's in Paris, firstly. Secondly, it's been a while since I visited Europe, so I definitely want to go back and see the co-working folks over in Europe. But where else are you seeing a growth in demand? Being American first kind of market, are you seeing popularity of other English-speaking countries, or is it kind of uniform around the world? Where are you expanding to next?
Well, unfortunately, everybody knows multiple languages. Being in Berlin, I'm like, oh, so I took, French in high school, and that's about it. Everybody knows multiple languages, so everybody knows English. It's so embarrassing. We're so embarrassing. We need to... But I will say, obviously, the UK is doing it well. So if we can just continue to grow and expand like they're doing in the UK, all over Europe, we're getting there. We're going to be there. I think a lot of US companies are expanding, right, globally. And so they're able to accommodate their needs because they have locations in all the major cities where they need to grow. So I think also, where else, Caroline, have we looked? Canada, Kane, shout out to Kane.
Yeah.
He's doing big things with enterprise.
There's some great operators in Canada. I would say Australia's kind of been popping up for us lately. We've got some conversations going with some great operators there. I think they'll end up joining, which is exciting. And then Hector, I don't know if you've met or are you familiar with KMC out of Philippines?
Yep.
So yeah, I'm really interested in what they're doing, particularly with the staffing side of their operation. So I think we're going to have some further conversations. And I think that would just be such a great value add for potential clients. Like, hey, not only can we find you the space, but we can actually help you with the staffing. So I'm always looking for, partnerships across the industry that makes sense to just kind of tie everything together. And I think that's just one thing that I'm very grateful for with our model and just the way that we work is we're not tied to any one brand. So we really can just, like, if a partnership makes sense, like, let's do it. We've partnered with all kinds of different companies, and everything just like comes full circle back somehow to serving the client, serving the operator. And so I think the more that we connect this industry, the better for everyone. And so it's been really fun to get creative in doing that in different ways.
I love
We've got a
that.
call with Singapore this week. So
nice.
I feel like the time difference is a little bit of a challenge.
That is
but
yeah.
We're going to make it work.
Hector, can you syncaroo us time
Yeah,
zones?
I
Because
mean, it's one of my
Lovely
pain
night.
points.
Yes.
Like, yeah, we have clients who are 12-hour plus differences. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know when to meet you, but we'll make it work.
Yeah.
Gonna make it work.
But yeah, we need some sort of synchronization thing where you
Yes.
can speak to me when I'm not here. Maybe we just have to create
Right.
AI agents on
I'll
each of us.
record me, and you can hear my spiel
There
while
you
I'm
go.
sleeping, and then ask your questions.
There you go. And it knows all the database. It'll tell
Yeah.
you what the answer is. We're going to get there. Don't worry. And the good thing is we're all building good databases now. We'll have enough information to share, even if we're sleeping. On that note, I want to thank you both for spending some time with me and all of us on the podcast. Thanks again for the great work you're doing, supporting operators, but also supporting co-working in the enterprise space. There's not enough being said about that. So I'm glad we get to share that and celebrate it. I will see you in real life pretty soon. And until then, we'll be back in your podcast feed in a couple of days. Thank you both. Take care.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.